Vanilla Vista Immortals. You can call me Whimsical William. Welcome to my channel. Alright, let's switch it up. We've done a lot of manga, anime figures. Let's go to an entirely different spectrum of the hobby. Let's talk about vinyls. That's right, my new hobby is collecting vinyls. I didn't mean to get into it, but I did. I'll give you the story in a second. But basically, this video is going to be about my first experience with Record Day. How early I woke up, the things that I found, and how much more it made me enjoy this hobby. But first, let's talk about how I accidentally got into the hobby. Alright, so I'm a big fan of math rock and Midwest emo. They are music that make me feel nostalgic for a time that I was born for, but I didn't really participate in. A time and friends and just a setting, like a type of weather. I get all kinds of memories and feelings when I hear these type of songs and bands, and it makes me feel and think about things that I can't truly recollect. It's really beautiful and poetic. Bands like Tiny Moving Parts, American Football, This Town Needs Guns, TTNG, Delta Sleep. A lot of these, some of my favorite bands of all time. I listen to a lot of metal, a lot of hardcore and punk, but these bands, they just hit different for me. I say all that to say, I have a local record store down the street from me, and I drive past it all the time. I've even walked past it, but I never thought to stop in because it's a record store. I just really didn't have a desire to collect records because they're cumbersome. And once you buy a record, you don't just buy the record. You have to buy the player, the speakers, and a whole bunch of other things. You need a place to house your records as well, keep them safe, so on and so forth. I didn't feel like starting a new hobby because I have a wall of manga, I collect anime figures and other little anime trinkets and things like that. And I just figured, I'm in a studio apartment, I'm pushing my luck with how many things I collect. But I wanted to check the place out. It looked like a little hole in the wall, a little small place. Place is called Electric Fetus. One day it was warm and it was a nice day outside and I felt adventurous. So I walked up there and I opened the door, but the door wouldn't open. It was painted over. It looked really crappy, looked kind of shady. And I was like, maybe this place is closed. You know, it doesn't look like the type of place that I want to spend a lot of time. And I looked around the corner. Lo and behold, this place is more of a horizontal shape and it had like a whole bunch of store on the other side. So I'm walking. I'm seeing records in the windows, old vintage record players, posters of bands and concerts and just things that are happening, you know, within that store and within the neighborhood. And I'm looking at this place and I'm like, you know, from this angle, this is a really cool looking store. So I open the door and I'm greeted with incense, candles, stickers, just a lot of touristy kind of things. And I walked further into the store and my goal was to get an American football CD. I was really feeling American football. I've always liked them. I've just really been feeling their music lately. Maybe I've matured a little bit more to really appreciate the sound, but I really was craving a CD from American football. Any of their CDs really. The demo, the newest CD, their second CD, their first LP. I just wanted an American football CD. So I walk in, I'm looking around. I immediately ignore the records because I'm like, I'm not about that life. I don't want it. And I asked someone that works there, hey, you got any American football? My CD, and they're like, yeah. And it was a CD full of covers. And I'm like, that's not really what I want. No, like, we have this. And he pulls out an American football vinyl. And I'm like, no. It looks so cool too. And it's a deluxe edition. It's got like a whole bunch of extra artwork in it. You know, pictures that somebody in the band took. The vinyls themselves look a beautiful red. I was like, I don't want to start a new hobby. But I folded. And I bought it and I thought to myself, now I have to buy a bunch of other stuff. I'm not just gonna keep this record and not play it. I want to hear it. That was the whole point of getting the CD. But I honestly was a newborn baby when it comes to vinyl. I didn't know anything. I knew that those suitcase record players are trash. Like eventually over time, they'll damage your vinyls. The built-in speakers are garbage. and it just kind of robs you of a good experience. If you're short on cash, it is a good way to start. And starting that way, you might really be turned off by the hobby. I wanted a good start if I was going to really enjoy this hobby and really just do it. So I'm going over the prices and I'm going over all the record players and the speakers, because I didn't want Bluetooth speakers. I wanted the full experience. I wanted it to be as analog as I could have it. And it was kind of expensive. I already put one foot in the grave. I decided to just keep going and going. And I bought record after record. And I decided that my collection, I wanted it to be mostly math rock and Midwest emo with a little bit of hardcore, a little bit of metal, just, some of my favorite metal and hardcore bands, a lot of anime and video game music. And that's so far what I'm curating. I've been into this hobby for about 2, maybe 3 weeks. I've gotten some really cool stuff. So we're here to talk about my first record day. Record day is a day where there's exclusive vinyls and there's a larger variety of used vinyls or records. Well, vinyl without the S, because it's amateur stuff. So vinyl and records, there's like an abundance of used depending on which store you go to. And they open up really early and it's just a fun event. It almost feels like an anime convention. Let me tell you my story. I get in line at 4 o'clock in the morning. I make a friend and we both go there and we brought chairs and we're sitting. It's kind of chilly. And as the line gets longer, I talk to more people about what they're collecting, what they're into, how they start. I was essentially interviewing them, but it was like my way of making friends and trying to understand the hobby more. And I got some really cool answers. There was a kid next to me with his parents. They were all playing Pokemon Go, so I decided to join along. They were looking for some really interesting stuff. The most interesting things that I saw for record day, in my opinion, were the Gorillaz. They had a live a live vinyl, which is really cool. Live vinyls are usually really cool from what I've learned so far. And Flying Lotus, I really like Flying Lotus a lot. Before I got into like the Flying Lotus that was available on Grand Theft Auto, I was really into the Flying Lotus that I heard from, I don't really remember where I heard it from. Might have been like some anime videos or something like that, like AMVs. Like, it was really cool fight scenes, usually like some Samurai Champloo type stuff, some samurais fighting, and it would be Flying Lotus playing in the background. It was epic. Because of Samurai Champloo, my mind automatically goes to hip hop whenever I see a great sword fight. It could be Kenshin, Samurai 7, whatever samurais that I'm checking out, it always goes to really good hip hop. So yeah, I'm standing in line, I'm making friends with people. It's really early, it's kind of chilly. It was a lot of fun. So 4 o'clock eventually became 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock became 8 o'clock, they opened. And we stormed in, and I had a list, and I was looking for certain things. I really wanted some math rock. And honestly, I didn't really get a lot of things that were on my list. A lot of music that I enjoy and that I want for my collection, I have to order on eBay or order from Japan, because a lot of math rock bands are Japanese, like Trico or Tricot, Toe. There's another Japanese one, Kotoba. Yeah, Japan has some epic math rock for sure. And most of it I have to order online, unfortunately. But I found some really cool stuff. I wanted anime stuff, and I got that. I wanted video game stuff. I got that. And I kind of want a little bit of every genre that I'm into. And I can't say I'm a person that's into everything. I found music that I like in almost every genre. So let's check it out. I don't really have a particular order. I will say that AFI, along with Between the Buried and Me, are my favorite bands. There are a lot of other bands that come very close, but these bands have a place in my heart that's either sentimental or just special in its own way. Between the Buried and Me is my favorite band because they make 15-20 minute songs that switch genres. They're like prog metal's finest for me, and they've been around since I was in middle school, and I've just really enjoyed how heavy, how quirky, and how interesting the music is. And I like to terrorize people with jukeboxes. Like, if I'm at a diner, if it's got Between the Buried and Me, you're stuck listening to Swim Me to the Moon for about 17 minutes. And you're gonna like it. It's good. A lot of screaming, breakdowns, blast beats. It's great. Now, AFI is the band that has influenced me in ways that many other bands couldn't. I love Linkin Park as a kid. I love Korn as a kid. Lamb of God was like my metal awakening. Just amazing music. But AFI encouraged me to be straight edge, encouraged me to paint my nails, wear makeup, just be everything that I wanted to be. There was a person there, vegan, straight edge. There was a great example of a person who was secure in their masculinity and completely themselves, completely who they wanted to be. And I've always loved Davey Havoc for that. I love the music they make. I love the lyrics. I love how each album a few albums at a time, they transition into a different sound. Go from hardcore punk to totally different punk. Then that punk goes to like whatever the MySpace era was. I mean, I guess you could call it emo, I don't know. Then slowly it transforms into like post-punk, like goth music, dark wave. And that's what we're getting right now, but it's transforming into something else because the last album, Bodies, just had a different feel to it that dark wave doesn't quite have. Now their album Burials has that dark wave post-punk sound. The Cure, Sisters of Mercy, Susie and the Banshees, it's got that spirit. It's beautiful. Burials is one of my favorite albums from AFI. It's super underrated. It's great. A lot of people after December Underground, they fell off. Or maybe they gave one of the newer albums a chance, but most people fall off after Miss May I. Or no, I'm sorry, not Miss May I, Miss Murder. But me, I stuck around, and I love each album, and I want to collect every album from AFI. That's one of my goals for my vinyl collection. And I want mostly math rock and Midwest emo. So that's what I've been working on. But for this particular haul, if you will, I got 5 records. This is what I got. I'll show you. First, I'll show you the back and the front. This is volume 2 of the first season of Fooly Cooly. I need to get volume 1 because it's got Ride On Shooting Star. It's one of my favorite songs. I love that song so much. But this has some bangers. Like, I Think I Can is such a great track. And notice I have my vinyls in plastic. I try to take really good care of my vinyls. I keep my cases in plastic and I keep my records themselves inside of a static sleeve. Next we got the vinyl Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the video game. It's Amazing by Anamanaguchi. I think I pronounced it correctly. This music is so good. It's like 8-bit music. So good. It just, even if you suck at the game or you're not having a good time playing the old school style, the music is just incredible. Next, I picked up a hardcore band from California called Stick to Your Guns. I love this band so much, and whenever they tour, I try to see them. Amazing music. They're actually touring right now, and I want to check them out. Again, I've never seen Stick to Your Guns in my current state. I've only seen them in Michigan. So it'd be nice to see them in Minnesota. We got Aaliyah. I'm from Detroit. And anyone who's from Detroit appreciates Aaliyah, I think. She had incredible music, rest in peace. This particular collection has like a lot of her songs that I really enjoyed, from the movies to her first and second records or albums. And these are gold vinyls. I'll have to show you these. These are beautiful. For some reason, most of my vinyls have like different colors or patterns, and I really appreciate that. Now, I was saying Between the Buried and Me is my favorite band. This is one of my favorite albums from Between the Buried and Me, The Silent Circus. It's got the song Aesthetic in it. It just has a beautiful... It's hard to explain. It's just the time signature is so strange and so cool. I love listening to the songs from this record. After this record probably was their most popular record, Alaska. If Alaska's not their most popular, then the next one after that, Colors, was probably their most popular. But I think that this album is slept on, and I'm really happy to have it in my collection. Victory Records, like back in the day, they had all the good bands. Really good memories there. So now I'm gonna take all these vinyls out of their sleeves, and I'm gonna show you what the colors look like, and if they open up, you know, how much detail is in them and whatnot. So stay tuned for that. All right, folks, that is what I picked up for my first record day. I think it's a nice variety. I think it really showcases the many different genres of music that really get my blood pumping, really, that I really enjoy. So, thank you so much for checking out another video. I know this one was a random one, but if you're into vinyl, if you're into records, if you're into music in general, let me know in the comments below, particularly what bands or what genres you're into. It be hip hop, R&B, metal, punk. I want to know what the viewers enjoy. And if you are a vinyl collector, how long have you been collecting? And what do you like? What's in your collection? Until next time, thanks. Peace.